All right, this is going to be the Force Naval tutorial. In a 6-day run, you'll try to get here on day 3, but if you are new, you'll probably have taken 2 days in Force of Hope, so you'll be getting here on day 4, and that's fine. There's no difference between day 3 and 4 as far as like enemy spawns or anything like that, so it's fine if you're here on day 4. But yeah, so I actually find Force Naval to be, it's a little harder to learn, I think, than Force of Hope. Even though it's easier to get everything done in one day, I think there's more to learn, and there's a lot of complex things where you have to like finish one thing before another thing's done, and like get some timings correctly, and remember a lot of Pikmin numbers. So it may take a little longer to learn, but it is the only area in the game that has pretty much no RNG. So once you do learn it, it's actually really satisfying to do the area because you can just be pretty consistent at it without having to worry about any RNG. So yeah. So you want to take out all of your blues and all of your reds and all of your yellows. And remember, you can hold Y on the Switch version when you're taking out Pikmin to take them out in tens. And also the velocity at which this number increases as you're taking Pikmin out, that velocity is maintained between onion text boxes. So here, I'm going to hold down to take all of my Pikmin out, and then I'm going to continue holding down while the text box goes away. And then I want to make sure before I open the yellow onion text box, I'll hold down as well, so that when I open it, that velocity is maintained, and it'll essentially go to my 16 Pikmin in like 1 frame, or 2 frames, I guess. So yeah, it's just very quick if you just hold down out of this text box and then hold down before this text box. Also real quick, so you should have around 80 reds here, but I think the minimum you need is 75, and for yellows, you probably want at least 13. But you should usually have 15 to 17. And then just walk over here. I like to just walk next to the geyser here, and then just wait until you can see all of your reds are out of the onion before you head over here, or else they can get stuck on the ledge here. So first we want to kill this Blowhog. The way to kill Blowhogs, just wait kind of in front of them or to the side, and once they turn towards you and are about to start blowing fire, then you can swarm them. If you swarm them before that, then they'll just knock your Pikmin off and deflower them, which you don't want, obviously. So yeah. Also, the Breadbug is one thing that you will, most of the time, you'll see it here. Essentially, the way the Breadbug works is it's one of the few enemies in Pikmin where while even if it's off screen, it actually stays loaded the entire time. With the exception of once it starts grabbing something to try to bring it back to its burrow, it actually just freezes in place there. If it is deloaded, like off screen, then it'll just freeze in place. And after about 6 seconds of being frozen in place, then it will, I guess it thinks it's stuck or something, and it'll just bury itself and respawn at its burrow. And so most of the time you'll get some pellet drops from something here, and the Breadbug will be on its way, and it'll start bringing that pellet back to its burrow. So after you kill this guy, you will almost always want to zoom in just to make sure that it can't bring the pellets back to its burrow, because we want those pellets to be here for later. Also be careful if you have any yellow trips. Sometimes they'll be getting here right as it starts blowing fire, so be prepared to whistle them in case they catch on fire. And then, yeah, these guys, they spawn in random locations. Just try to one-shot them on the head. Not really too much to say about this. The one thing, though, also is once they get to half health, they'll start flying around, and you need to try to one-shot them by hitting them out of the air. You don't actually have to arc the Pikmin onto it, though. It works if it like goes up and then lands on the shearwig, but also if you run under a shearwig and then throw a Pikmin and hit it from the bottom, that will one-shot it as well. And like I said before, if the Breadbug were here, it would be trying to grab this one pellet, so I would be like fully zoomed in here just to keep it off screen. And then go and kill this guy. And you want to have paid attention to the drops from the shearwigs and from these 2 Blowhogs. As long as at least one pellet has dropped, then you're okay and you can move on. But if it didn't drop anything, we do need at least 1 pellet for later to get Breadbug. So either you can try to go and kill this, whatever it's called, this Blowhog as well, or there's a guaranteed pellet drop from a Beetle here. I actually threw a little too far. It actually spawns right about here. You should just throw reds here, and the first time you hit the Beetle, it'll always spawn this 1 pellet. So you can use that to get the Breadbug later in the day. But that should be pretty rare. But regardless, once you're done with that area, just head over here. If you have to be zoomed in to keep the Breadbug off screen, I like to use these kind of light colored lines in the dirt as reference. See if I can rewind here a little bit. They go essentially from the Blowhog when you kill it all the way up to the left of this Blowhog. So I just follow these like light colored lines in the dirt, like this one or like this one, until I see the Blowhog is to my right, and then I'll zoom out and move up over here. The only thing is you just don't want to move to the right here too far, because then the Wallywog will jump at you, which is not terrible. You can salvage that, but it does lose some time. So try to stay run on the left here. And then, so you want to grab a red and just throw 25 reds onto the bridge here. If the, whatever it's called, the Wallywog did jump at you, maybe you were too far to the right, or there's a trip that ran this way, it's fine. Its first jump will not land on you as you're throwing the 25 reds. So you should just really quickly throw the 25 reds before moving up just a bit. As you move up the second, it should do its second jump, and you can just move up out of the way to throw your 12 yellows on the geyser here. And then at that point, just move up to the left past the grass here and try to get it to do a really far jump and dismiss your Pikmin past the grass. They don't aggro on it. But at that point, it will basically be too far away from its home. So it'll, instead of aggroing you, it'll jump back to its home. And you just want to keep it on screen the entire time just to make sure it does get all the way back. Because if you take it off screen, it'll actually freeze in place and not go all the way back to its home. So that's the backup if that does happen. But regardless, there are 25 reds up here, and then 12 yellows on the geyser. And if you actually threw 26, it's fine. Just leave them for now, and you can fix it later. And then, so yeah, whistle your yellows. You want to be a little careful if there are any bomb rocks in this pipe. Well, so they spawn randomly. There are sometimes bomb rocks that are outside the pipe, like on the right edge or on the left edge here. If there's one that's fully outside the pipe, not just like a little bit clipped into it, then you do want to throw yellows or one yellow at that bomb rock first, just to pick it up, and then throw the rest of yours in the center towards the pipe here. If you just try to throw all of your Pikmin in the center, then one of them will try to go for that bomb outside the pipe, and it'll get stuck on the edge of the pipe here and not rejoin your party and not grab the bomb. So you just, if there's a bomb on the edge, make sure to grab that bomb first before throwing all the rest in the middle. And when you come back here, make sure to come back on the left side of the bridge, not the right. If you try to walk around the right side, then the yellows will actually fall off into the water over here. And just whistle everyone. I'd like to stay to the right here, just C6 to the right, so you don't have anyone grab onto the grass. It's fine if they do, you can just whistle them later, but just a little time saver to stay on the right here. And then go about to where I do here, not much farther. If you go maybe like this far, then the yellows that grab bombs actually don't rejoin your party, so just go just past the Breadbug's little hidey hole here, and then swap to a yellow. And we're going to use the color swap mechanic to bring all of our bomb rocks to us. So here I just like press A, and then press and hold A, then press R to bring a bomb into my hand, and then let go of A to throw the bomb, and then just do that over and over again with my yellows and the bombs. And it's a little hard to see also, but the Wallywog in this area is right about over here, and I am intentionally throwing these bombs in a place so that the Wallywog will turn to look at them. They're in his field of vision now, and he's getting ready to jump, but they're actually too far away for him to jump at them. So that when I move into this area now, he's already turned towards me, and I can just hold C-stick up to make him jump immediately without having to wait for him to turn around. So yeah, once he jumps, head over to the left here and grab a bomb in your hand. Again, remember you can hold A and then use R to get to a bomb. Once you walk up to about here, so you want to throw 6 bombs, don't whistle them. The only time you want to whistle is if one of them, when on its way back, accidentally runs through fire. That can happen rarely, in which case, yeah, you got to whistle it so it doesn't die. But as, I guess, after you throw all 6, then you want to kind of C-stick down to the right here to try to get a lot of your reds to fall off the ledge. That'll make your dismiss after this a little cleaner, so your reds mostly just go off the ledge and are easy to whistle, and they aren't near any of the other Pikmin. So yeah, I got a bunch of my reds off there, so now I just C-stick down and then dismiss, and my reds mostly just go off the ledge, and I can easily whistle them. So now is the Puffstool. So yeah, walk up to it. It's not super precise which way you have it run, but just generally up this way, and throw 3 Pikmin on it, and then wait until it's about to flip, and then the number of Pikmin you're going to throw here is kind of dependent on how good you are at BD. There's a couple different strats you can do here. If you're bad at BD, you're going to want to have this be slow, but if you're good at BD, then you're going to have to be this to be fast so that you don't have to wait on it later. In this video right here, I'm going to throw 31 total, including these 3 I threw. And so the way I basically keep an eye on that is I have 56 here, so after I finish throwing on the Puffstool here, I will have 25. So I have 25, and then I just dismiss them. And you see also I was one short. It didn't really matter. I don't need to throw all of them onto the Puffstool as long as they're over here, and I can dismiss the rest of my Pikmin over here. That's what I needed. And then as soon as Puffstool dies, whistle your Pikmin here and just walk into the center of the Omega Stabilizer and just C-stick your Pikmin around so they're all inside the Omega Stabilizer as it becomes tangible. If you do that, they should all grab it essentially immediately. Except for that one. I got alone lucky and I had to dismiss that one. But be careful if you don't get everyone on here. Most of the time, if you then dismiss, they actually prioritize the Puffstool, whatever it's called, corpse over the Omega Stabilizer. So if you do have to dismiss them, far away from the Puffstool corpse. And then I just bring the rest of my Pikmin over here. So this is the fast strat because I can generally get a pretty quick Beetle fight. Here is what you do if you are kind of okay at BD. Like a lot of the times you find you have to wait on the Omega Stabilizer if you were to only put 30 on it, but if you were to put 31, then you didn't beat it out of the area. In that case, you would want to put 30 on it. And then just on your way out here, and you don't want to throw it too close to this, because if you just toss the red like right here, the Omega Stabilizer will push the Puffstool corpse towards it, and the red will just grab the corpse. But just right about between the fire and the glow cap here, you just want to throw one red, and that'll speed up the Omega Stabilizer as it passes. And then the really slow strat, this is probably what you're going to do most of the time starting out, is only throw 29 onto the Omega Stabilizer. Whistle the rest of your reds, and then as you're leaving the area, just throw one more, just to delay it as much as possible. But regardless of what you do, you're going to walk forward and head to BD here. You can whistle your yellows to help make this fight a little faster, but I actually wouldn't recommend it. Even though they do add a bit of damage, you can still do this fast enough without them. And if you bring them, they'll end up mostly getting deflowered and be leaves and buds later, which just slows things down, and I prefer not to deal with those. So I would recommend only bring your reds. And then you can see kind of as I'm walking forward here, these like bands of the area kind of become deshadowed. Like this band is now deshadowed, and you can see there's kind of a bottom edge of where the shadow was here and a top edge. You want to, right as you get to the bottom edge here of this shadow right here, right as Olimar gets to that bottom edge here, that's when you're going to want to start throwing Pikmin. And this whole time you're C-sticking the reds kind of forward with Olimar, so Olimar's in the middle of the group. So you can see right as I get to the edge of this band, I start throwing. And because we didn't get the Breadbug earlier, BD will fall immediately as soon as we get to this part of the arena. Essentially, that's because if there are sprouts, like Pikmin sprouts in the ground anywhere on the map, then BD will actually take about 4 seconds to fall into the arena. But because there are no sprouts in the ground, he falls immediately. It's very weird. We don't really know why, but that's how it works. So right as you get to, just to reiterate, the bottom of this band right here, bottom of this band, C-stick, throw Pikmin, and then just walk forward, keep throwing, and just walk forward just a little bit to like, I guess, halfway through the band. At that point, just hold C-stick up to keep your reds away from his feet, and just C-stick throw the remainder of them onto his body. And once you throw, he will always do 4 stomps before shaking off. If you got all of the reds in generally the same area on his body, they will also all be shaken off into generally the same area on the ground. See, like here, they were all pretty close to each other. Really, you just want to avoid whistling anything off of his body because you really need to do as much damage as you can. So say they get thrown off kind of randomly, and there's like maybe 1 or 2 near his feet, but there's a large grouping over here. It's fine to leave the ones near his feet. It's okay if a couple die, as long as you get as many back onto his body as possible. So. And this is pretty much the best case scenario. Is I did my initial throw, he did 4 stomps, I whistled and then rethrow, and I finished him off after the next 4 stomps. That's pretty much as good as you can hope for. When you're starting out, I would probably try to, like when you're doing the slow strat with only 29 on the Omega Stabilizer and you throw 1 more, as long as you can beat it in 4 cycles of 4 stomps, you should be okay. And I would recommend just practicing until that level. And make sure you come into this day with a decent amount of reds, like 80 or 81, because then you can afford to have several deaths here. So yeah, this is definitely the hardest part of the day, but just practice, practice, practice until you can usually get essentially a 4-cycle BD where he does 4 stomps, shakes off, 4 stomps, shakes off, does that 4 times basically. So yeah. As soon as you see them die, whistle everyone off them and walk away a little bit. That'll get your flowers to generally be closer to you. And then just throw flowers just down here until you only have 20 Pikmin left in your party. And at that point, you want to walk up and C-stick into the guard satellite. And it's fine to walk through the 1 pellets here. They're not tangible yet as soon as they spawn. Essentially, the timing of this dismiss, you want to walk up and get the text box and then just wait a hair after the text box before then just try to doing a little C-stick circle and dismissing onto the part here. If you do it too early, like you don't get the text box or you just dismiss immediately after the text box, then a lot of the times not all of them will grab the guard satellite and they'll actually return to your party for some reason. So you want to avoid that. And then just, once you do that, whistle the remaining reds and just head back over here. And you can see I actually beat it by quite a bit here. Essentially, the Omega Stabilizer, you want to leave the area, like be right here, just as the Omega Stabilizer is just past here, because there's a bunch of shearwigs here and shear grubs. They only come out of the ground if Olimar is nearby, but if there's only Pikmin nearby, then they don't care. So you just want basically the Omega Stabilizer to get out of the area right as you leave here. So that's why I'm waiting here, is I know if I were to leave and just keep moving with Olimar right now, there would be a couple more shearwigs here that would spawn near the Omega Stabilizer and could eat these Pikmin. So yeah. Also, obviously you want to make sure that you're out after it leaves, but you don't want it to be too far. Like if it's over here, then it'll be probably too far because you need to beat it to around the base later on. So essentially it's just a happy medium where you want to pick your strat on the Puffstool so that you can consistently leave and pass essentially this line right as the Omega Stabilizer does as well. And here, you don't have to worry about your Pikmin latching onto these shear grubs and shearwigs. As long as you don't touch them and as long as you don't touch the C-stick, they will never aggro onto these guys. The only thing also is if there's trips, you're going to need to be killing yellows and reds later anyway, so don't even worry about saving those trips. If they trip here, it's fine, just keep moving. And then dismiss your Pikmin just past this wall, so they're usually safe from the shearwigs, and then whistle the reds here. Here is where if you accidentally threw like 26 up on this wall earlier, now you can just throw one to the side until you only have 25, and just keep C-sticking forward, and then dismissing onto the gravity jumper, I think. And then whistle your Pikmin, head back over here. Be a little careful, you don't want to be too far to the left because this guy will jump. And so here I want to throw Pikmin onto this Blowhog until I only have 10 left in my party. Since I have 21, I'll be throwing 11 onto it. If you are a little slow and the Omega Stabilizer is near this Blowhog right now, you can't really throw onto the Blowhog or else they'll actually end up going onto the Omega Stabilizer instead. In that case, just throw your Pikmin onto this Blowhog instead, and it'll end up being behind the Omega Stabilizer, and you just have to catch it slightly later, basically. But throw until you have 10, and then you want to throw one each on the shearwigs here. You don't have to get them all moving. It's obviously better if you have all 4 of them moving. But if 2 Pikmin grab 1 shearwig, that's fine. As long as 3 of them are moving, you're okay. Even honestly, even as long as 2 of them are moving, you're pretty okay as well. But you just want to get moving. Throw your Pikmin here and just get moving because you want to beat the Omega Stabilizer past here later. Also, don't really worry about the Pikmin grabbing 1 pellets. They very highly prioritize the shearwigs here. So yeah. So now I only have my 6 bombs left. You want to C-stick up this little gap here. And what I like to do here is throw my 6. And then if 2 Pikmin grabbed 1 shearwig, it'll actually be very, very fast, and you don't want it to go too far up here. So as soon as you threw those 6, you should then whistle any shearwigs that are going very fast here before turning and then throwing your remaining bombs onto that wall. And then, yeah, just dismiss, do what you can to C-stick and dismiss Pikmin onto all of these pellet posies. You want to get them all broken down. It's okay if only 2 of them are broken down, but generally you should be trying to get all 3 here before activating the blue onion. And once this cutscene ends, just walk back here and wait for these to die. If anyone tried to grab a pellet, you want to whistle them off before it moves too far, because you're going to be dismissing these Pikmin around here, and you don't want them to grab a pellet while you dismiss them, so just make sure they don't try to carry these pellets too far. But, so you'll always be throwing 7 yellows up here, exactly 7. Also, if you didn't get any shearwigs earlier, before you throw these, then just throw 1 Pikmin each onto any shearwigs you didn't grab earlier before throwing 7 up here. And then just dismiss your Pikmin here in such a way that they don't really grab anything before you're going to pluck the blue. Oh, also, actually, if you had to grab the farther away Blowhog, it should be right here just after you activate the blue onion. So after you activate the blue onion, come back, whistle these guys, then whistle anyone off of the Blowhog if you grab the farther Blowhog. But regardless, once this cutscene ends, want to walk up, and if there are any Pikmin that you threw to grab the missing shearwigs earlier, whistle them now. They'll be right around here before trying to get the blue into your hand. It's always consistent, the order of colors when you have Pikmin in your hand. So if you press A and you get a red, press R twice and you'll get a blue. If you press A and you get a yellow, then just press R once to get blue into your hand, and then throw it onto generally the closest shearwig to the blue onion, not as the crow flies. Like this shearwig here is closer to the blue onion as the crow flies than this shearwig, but because they will always have to go down this path, this shearwig is actually closer to the onion. So I try to throw in the closer one here. And then, so usually you'll be slower than this thing. You see the Omega Stabilizer, once it does this little right turn right here, then you're safe to whistle it off. If you're very early, don't whistle it earlier than that, because if you whistle it like here or something, then the other parts, when they pass, they can actually end up pushing it over the ledge and near the water, and then you can't grab it later. So just make sure it moves just a bit to the right here before you whistle. But then once you have all your Pikmin here, you're going to throw yellows in the water to drown them until there are only 13 yellows on the field. So remember how many you came into the day with, because like here I came in the day with 16 yellows, so I know I'll need to kill 3 in order to have only 13 yellows left on the field. And then after that, like essentially, once those are dead, you want to throw reds and drown them until there are only 90 Pikmin total on the field. So 98 there's total right now. These 3, when they die, there'll be 95. So then I want to throw 5 reds in to make room for 90 on the field. Before walking and dismissing here, grab your yellows and just throw them all just in the middle here. Most of the time, they will all grab bombs. Occasionally, one will get stuck, but deal with that later. Basically, just throw here right now before grabbing your reds. And you want to walk up just to the, first of all, on the left edge of this little ledge here. If I were to walk right here when I try to throw my reds over, then the yellows would end up walking into the water, so I don't want that. I just want to be just on the left edge here, kind of between these two lines, like right here and right here, between those two lines. And then you want to just hold A and just use motion controls to get the farthest thing possible and throw exactly 22 reds over this ledge here, and they'll start building the bridge. Couple things that can go wrong here is, so this ledge, you actually don't want to be too close to the edge of it because it's slanted. So even if you don't walk off of it, you can actually slide off of it while you're throwing Pikmin here. So don't walk too close to the ledge. But if you do fall off the ledge, or if any reds fall off the ledge, either you can just, if a bunch of them fall off the ledge, then just walk off with them, dismiss them onto the stick bridge, and they will climb back up on their own because they'll build the stick bridge and come up here, and you can just go around to come back up here. If only like 1 or 2 reds fell down, then when you get your bombs up here, you can dismiss the rest of your reds, whistle just the red that fell down, and then whistle the bombs, and just hold A to hold a bomb, and then just tap R, and that'll bring the red right to your hand. But yeah, that's basically all that can go wrong here. Also, if you want, you can just like drop down and throw them back up, but yeah. So yeah, throw our 22 reds down here. And then going to use color swapping to get all of our bombs back up. Just A and then R again, just to get all 6 bombs. And then we're going to want to throw the rest of our reds up here. I actually want to speed up the gravity jumper, but most of the time, if you throw these 2 reds right here onto the gravity jumper, they actually prioritize the Omega Stabilizer and grab that instead. So generally don't throw them onto the gravity jumper right here. But pay attention if you only threw 5 bombs and you can't get the other bomb, then it may have gotten stuck. Just like on this back corner. If that's the case, dismiss the rest of your reds here and then whistle it, and then dismiss it right in front of the can again. So yeah. But once you've thrown everyone up here, you just want to throw 1 bomb over this way. Just be aware that the indicator, or the cursor, the purple cursor, is actually not a good indicator of where the bomb will land. It actually goes quite a bit farther than where the cursor is right here. I think it's because because the ground is higher than where you are. I'm not exactly sure, but if I were to have the cursor like right on the wall here, then the bomb would actually go over the wall and it would die when the bomb explodes on the other side of the wall. So just make sure to throw the cursor like right around here, and then the yellow will land near the wall. But so yeah, here right as I pass, I should have 2 extra reds to throw onto the gravity jumper to speed it up. And then I want to throw the rest of my reds, which I should have 7 reds and 1 yellow, just to throw on here. That 1 yellow, that's from the bomb before. You can just either, just hold A after you throw your reds on a bomb, and then tap R, and that'll get the yellow into your hand, and you can throw it here. And then dismiss your bombs. It doesn't really matter. You can dismiss them here or here. It doesn't really matter. Actually, you know what? I would actually recommend dismissing up here, because if you dismiss them down here, then you get in the way of the guard satellite, which you need to whistle later. So, if you are here, basically, like right as the guard satellite is around here, we'll need to whistle off and then redismiss onto its guard satellite, because when we got it moving, this wall was still there, so the Pikmin don't actually know that they can go through this wall since we've broken it down. So we just need to whistle them and then dismiss, and that'll reset their pathing to know that they can go through here. But we don't want to do it right now because they're near the shearwigs. So I'm going to wait until I'm in the water and then I can do it. But if the guard satellite were here right as you're heading back to the Blue Onion, then you can just whistle and dismiss on it now. But the limiting factor here in the Blue Onion area is this 1 pellet, or just any one of these 1 pellets. One of them has to get into the onion, and those Pikmin growing will be the limiting factor of being done here. So I just try to pluck 1 more Pikmin, and so I can get 2 on here just to get it moving as fast as possible. And then here you saw, now this is away from the shearwig, so I can whistle and then dismiss back onto it to reset the pathing. And then you want to pluck 5. If you pluck 6 or 7 here, it's fine. And then just throw 5 onto the 5 pellet, and then 1 each onto the 1 pellets over here. And then pluck the remaining 2, just speed the 1 pellets up, and then wait for these last 2 to grow. And so you should have 11 Pikmin here now. Just throw 1 each on the shearwigs, and then put the remaining 8 onto the Blowhog. And here I'm just being careful because I don't want anyone to grab the shearwig, because the Blowhog here will usually get in last, so I wanted to make sure I have as many Pikmin on it as possible so I don't have to wait. And then here, yeah, try to get your bombs. You only need 1 bomb here, but I generally like to get all of them just so I don't forget them later. If you can, try to avoid walking into the gear to avoid activating the cutscene, or the text box for it, but honestly, it's not a huge deal. Also, actually, one other thing I forgot about the gear is right about here, right when you throw the 2 blues onto the 1 pellet here, the automatic gear is going to be falling right now, and if it's off screen, then it'll be fine, but if it's on screen, then the Pikmin actually fall off of it and get deflowered. So you just don't want to point the camera this way when you're in this area, or else they'll get deflowered. So just keep it in the overhead view, and try not to walk too far this way with Olimar as the gear falls. So, yeah. Back to here. So most of the time you're not going to be beating the guard satellite back. That's fine. You don't need to get a cutscene skip on it or anything. I just got it because I could here. But most of the time when you get back, you want to throw one bomb just right around here to destroy this wall. Sometimes, I don't actually know exactly how this works, but sometimes the bomb will just throw its bomb at the wall. Sometimes it'll walk down and place the bomb. If it walks down and places the bomb, just make sure that you keep the yellow in your party and kind of C-stick it to the left here so it doesn't die to the bomb. It's fine if it dies to the bomb, but you want to avoid it, basically. Just get it over here before you dismiss it. And then here I go for the cutscene skip. One thing about cutscene skips in Force Navel is that generally the part, it looks like it's not actually centered on the rainbow circle here. It looks like it's a little bit to the right when it gets collected. So just generally, if you are going for cutscene skips, press A sooner rather than later on these cutscene skips. So yeah. And then now this is where we're going for the area cutscene skip. Essentially, we need the automatic gear, so we need one of these 2 parts. Whichever one gets in first, we need to get a cutscene skip on that, and then we need the second part to come in before the first part gets sucked into the ship. So here I'm speeding this up, and then I'll just whistle off here and wait until it is just behind it before getting this started again. And here, I think it takes like 4 or 5 tries, but I get the cutscene skip on the gear. And then you don't actually need to get a cutscene skip on the second part to get the area cutscene skip, but it saves time to get cutscene on the second one as well. So now see, the gravity jumper is starting to get sucked up before the gear entered the ship, so that means we got the area cutscene skip. And that's just a nice time save. Again, if you're new, you don't have to feel like you have to go for that. It only saves in-game time, or it only saves real time. It doesn't save any in-game time on the clock, but nice to go for. And then once that's done, whistle all of your Pikmin here, most importantly all the reds, and look down at the number here. If this is 128 or 129, that means that everything has been sucked into the blue onion, and you can just put your yellows back in the onion. If not, I would try to just look over to the blue onion just to see if anything got stuck or is, just taking a little while. Like if this is like 124 or 122, then that means you still got to wait for stuff to come in. But once everything's been sucked into the ship, grab a red in your hand and then tap X until you have, if there are any leaves in your party, then tap X until you have a leaf in your hand, or if there are only buds, then tap X until there's a bud in your hand. And holding A, walk into the tractor beam here, and then tap B to just let go of the Pikmin. You don't want to throw it, but at that point, then you can open the onion text box, and you want to put 29 back in the onion. If this yellow died here, then you only put 28, but assuming the one on the wall didn't die, then you put 29, and that will make all of the buds enter the onion. Because essentially all of the closest Pikmin to Olimar are the ones that enter the onion. So since you had a bud in your hand, all the buds are closer to Olimar, so they'll go back. So you should only have, for the most part, only flowers here. And so grab one yellow, just throw it to the side here before C-sticking onto the Omega Stabilizer and dismissing. And so if that one yellow died near the dirt wall from the bomb, then there will actually be one sprout in the ground here. If there is a sprout in the ground, first start taking out all of your blues and then pluck the sprout. But yeah, you just want to grab all your blues here. And also, one thing about this throw here, if you notice that one of your reds didn't grab, that's actually okay. Pikmin build the same speed, the bridge, whether there's 21 or 22 on it, so it's fine if one of them didn't grab, just so you can see here. But yeah, grab all your blues out. And you want to walk to, I like to envision like the shore here has kind of 3 straight lines on it. That I'm kind of drawing with my mouse. Like there's one straight line here, second straight line here on the edge, and then third straight line here. You just want to walk around the middle of this second straight line, and then just put your cursor just past the crook here, and just throw all the blues. This will just help speed things up. And then here, yeah, whistle all your blues, whistle your yellow, your bombs. And if you can feel free, if you're not experienced getting through this, it can be a little finicky getting through the stalagmites or what are stalactites here. It's okay if you just go around the long way. It's still a time saver to go through here. And then, so this is what this one yellow is for, is we want to flower all of our blues off of one honey wisp here. It's okay if 1 or 2 don't get flowered. We can just put those to the side and then grab them later. But we want to get almost all of our Pikmin flowered here. So this is why I grab the yellow, is I just have the yellow in my hand. And then I just do some I walk around with circles in Olimar, because you can't really do the C-stick while you're holding a Pikmin. So just walk through the Pikmin a couple times in Olimar to get them a little bit bunched, before then throwing your yellow Pikmin at the honey wisp. That will knock down the nectar, at which point you can C-stick around onto the nectar to try to flower everyone. The reason I say to do this with a yellow is you can hit it with a bomb, but you need to direct impact it first try with the bomb, or else when it lands, the bomb will try to throw its bomb at the honey wisp, and that loses you a bomb. So either you can be very quick to notice and just whistle the bomb before it throws it, but if you don't notice, then it loses you a bomb, and in many cases can kill your Pikmin. So that's why I recommend having that one extra yellow to do it here. And if there are a lot of blues that are still leaves after this one nectar, like you didn't manage to flower maybe 5 or 10 or even more of them, there's actually a second honey wisp just over here. If you were to walk to this red plant and then walk back to the green plant, a second honey wisp will spawn over here. And then also, you may have accidentally activated this honey wisp earlier when you bombed the gate. If you walked too close to this plant earlier in the day, that would activate it. When you come back here now, then it actually won't appear here, but it does respawn actually if you walk to the stick here. This honey wisp will respawn and it'll start flying this way. So if you did accidentally activate it before when you bombed the gate, then just walk over to the stick and you should get the honey wisp that way. Yeah, try to get everyone flowered. See, I have one not flowered, that's fine. But try to whistle everyone off of the Omega Stabilizer before it gets back on the ship, so we can get cutscene skip on it later. If you can't, that's okay. This is just, a little time saver. And then as soon as you can, try to turn around here to see what the Breadbug is doing. Because at this point, we want to get the Breadbug, and it's the safest just to get it now. It's okay if we don't get it now, but just turning around as soon as possible, so if it is frozen in place, we can reload it so it won't bear itself back on the ground, then that'd be better. And whistle everyone, make sure no one gets stuck. Like you can see, the yellow got stuck on the wall here. Watch for that. And then just C-stick over here. Throw 2 reds onto the Breadbug here when it's grabbing one of the 1 pellets. Just be careful if it's over here. Be careful of any of the Blowhogs trying to blow fire on your Pikmin. But yeah, generally just throw 2 reds and move on. One thing you can do also if you're not very good at direct impacting it, because you do need to get at least one Pikmin to land on it in order to kill it when it comes back to the onion, is throw 2 on it, and if they miss, then they just grab the 1 pellet, then immediately whistle them off the 1 pellet, and the Breadbug will actually freeze in place for a second, which makes it a little easier to get the 1 shot onto it. So yeah, if you're not good, just throw 2, whistle, and then you can throw 2 onto the Breadbug. But here, this is where if we have any blue leaves, just throw them to the side here. We can grab them later. And then this is a little dismiss in order to grab my bombs. I actually messed it up a bit. Essentially what you want to do is grab a red, throw it to the side here, and then C-stick down to the right, kind of towards this wall, and then dismiss. I was a little too close to the wall. I probably should have walked around here with Olimar before dismissing, because then my Pikmin kind of bunched up on the wall. But this is essentially what you're supposed to do. Grab red, C-stick down to the right, and then dismiss. And then throw your 4 bombs on this wall. Sometimes one of them doesn't throw, or doesn't drop the bomb. That's okay. Just if it doesn't happen, just throw it again, and then head back here. So pay attention here. If we have any yellow deaths, it's okay to have 1 or 2 yellow deaths to the fire, although you only have 13 yellows left at this point, so generally you want to avoid it because you need to have 10 yellows for the rest of the run. But any blue deaths here will kill the run, essentially. You will not be able to grab the ADF later, so you definitely want to make sure for any blue trips. If you do see any blue trips, it's up to you. Either you can dismiss and try to whistle, or you can just wait, because it can be a little difficult around the fire. So yeah. And then right here, so most of the time you will, especially when you're starting out, you won't be beating this bridge. It'll be completed, or at least very close to it when you get here. If you are starting out and you don't think you're going to be able to beat this area in 1 day, this is a pretty good spot to finish this bridge, put all your Pikmin onto it if you did beat it, and then just whistle everyone and make sure that the Breadbug is back in base and is killed. If you didn't get the Breadbug, that's fine, but if you did put your 2 Pikmin on the Breadbug earlier, just make sure the Breadbug dies first before ending the day with all your Pikmin here. And then on the next day, you can, when you land, grab all 40 of your blues, all 13 of your yellows, and then just however many reds to fill the field, and then just head back here and continue with what we're about to do here. Alright, sorry, before coming back to this place on the next day, if you haven't gotten the Breadbug yet, then make sure to kill 1 or 2 Blowhogs, and or you can use the Beetle, that guaranteed Beetle spawn, to get some pellet drops to make sure you can kill the Breadbug on the next day, but then come back here. But regardless, if you're good to just keep going here, then just head past the bridge. And again, I like to see stick on the left here because there's a little bit more of a gap on the left than there is on the right for this geyser. And then for this dismiss, we want to have our reds over here, and we want to grab our blues. So what I'm going to do is grab Pikmin in my hand, tap R until I have a blue, and throw that blue just to the left here before holding C-stick up until I see the blues are here, reds are in the middle, and yellows are at the back. At that point, I will dismiss. And my red should go over here, kind of near the water, and the yellow should be kind of in the middle, and my blues will be right next to me. I'll whistle my blues, whistle that 1 blue in the water, and then just walk up and dismiss the Pikmin onto the analog computer. It's possible to avoid this text box, but most of the time you're going to be getting it anyway, and it can mess you up later. So I'd advise just to get the text box now, and then dismiss onto it. Whistle your yellow, or whistle your reds, I should say. And then we're going to be doing a part swap here, which is essentially where we're going to put the Pikmin in our party. We're going to dismiss them onto a part, and then whistle the Pikmin on the part and get them into our party, just kind of in one fluid motion. Essentially the way we'll do that is we want to C-stick our Pikmin until they're about where the part will be, And when the part just kind of moves into our group of Pikmin, then we're going to hold our whistle, just whistle, and then tap X to dismiss before moving our cursor away from the part and tapping B a few more times. If you just whistle in the dismiss and don't tap B a couple times afterwards, then the blues that you've just gotten back into your party will actually redismiss themselves a lot of the time, and then it just messes you up because then you need to re-whistle and sort them all around. So just wait for the part to get in the middle of the Pikmin, then B, X, and then tap B a few times. So here, whistle, dismiss, tap B a few times, and then whistle your yellows. And if any blues didn't grab and they're in the pool here, at this point we would walk to the right and just do a long whistle to try to grab any blues. Also, it's important here, I have 23 reds here. If you didn't get the Breadbug, then you'll have 25. Before the analog computer gets here, you just want to throw those 2 reds just over here, just to get them out of the way, because you want to put 23 reds onto the analog computer. It's not super important if you have 21 or 22, but the optimal number is 23. So if you can get that, then that'll be better. So yeah. So part stop, dismiss, tap B, whistle our yellows, grab any blues if we have them, and then head over here. You want to be careful about touching the C-stick after this, because sometimes some blues will get caught on the part, and if you C-stick them, they'll grab onto the part again, and then they'll die in the fire. So just keep an eye on it, make sure that doesn't happen before heading back to the bridge. And most of the time, unless you're like really, really good, you will not be beating this bridge. So this bridge should be done by the time you're back. If you are very good and you've beaten this bridge, then first throw 6 blues past onto into the water here to get the geyser going before putting the rest of your Pikmin onto the bridge to finish it. But since this bridge is already done, I'll whistle my Pikmin first. I'll throw 7 blues on there, and then exactly 17 up onto here. You should always have at least 23 reds for the analog computer and 17 for here if you did all of the Pikmin numbers I said earlier about killing yellows and reds and stuff like that. So throw 17 reds up onto here. If you have only close to 17, it may be hard to throw only reds without getting any yellows. So just hold C-stick down while you're throwing here, and that'll generally get the reds to stay close to you and the other colors move away from you so you won't throw them. And then once all 17 are up here, you're going to move up. Essentially the way this trick works is you're supposed to need yellows to grab the Libra here, but you can do it with reds actually. So the positioning for Olimar is you can see a little dark patch right above my mouse here, just this tiny little dark patch here. You want to move here with Olimar, get your cursor over the void here, and then hold B and move with motion controls the cursor to the right to whistle the Pikmin before moving it back up to the top, kind of past the ledge here. And you want to keep motion controls activated this entire time. So keep holding B as long as you can for the whistle before immediately switching to A to start throwing Pikmin, just to keep motion controls activated the whole time. It should look something like this. And you see my cursor there's kind of a corner here. My cursor is just to the left of the corner. And actually most of my cursor is covered by the ledge. You can only see a bit of it. That means that this will work. The Pikmin will be able to get up this ledge here. And at that point you will whistle your blues, whistle your other Pikmin, and head out. So this is an example of the wrong way to do it. So I get into position, I move my cursor over here. And also one thing that's important here is you are facing to the left with Olimar. When you throw Pikmin, they tend to move behind Olimar. So if you are facing forward here, the Pikmin will actually go behind you. Like if you're facing towards the Libra here, then the Pikmin will actually go behind you and fall off the ledge. So make sure Olimar is facing to the left here. And here I'm going to whistle. And then I'm going to let go of B. And I will not press A quick enough. And you can see the cursor is now moved back to around where the Libra is. That means motion controls have been deactivated. So now when I reactivate them, the cursor here is actually like way past the ledge, and you can fully see it. The essentially arc that the Pikmin try to take, if the cursor is like this, is not correct, so they don't make it all the way up. So just to reiterate, dismiss, move into the spot, hold B this entire time, moving it into position, before then immediately swapping your finger to A to start throwing, just to keep motion controls active the entire time. So yeah, that's what that should look like. That one can be a bit tricky, but once you know what you're doing, then it should be consistent 100% of the time. But head back here. You may be not quite as fast, and the analog computer will be like up here. I go to the right side because I'm quite early, but if the analog computer were like right here, then you should be on the left side because there'll be more room on the left side. But just try to get past it. Don't have any blue deaths, obviously. And I got a very cool rare glitch here, actually, which is one of the fire geysers. It's like, I don't know, like animation or whatever of sprouting fire has been swapped with the Blowhog's nose, I guess, moving around animation. So even though it looks like there's fire here, it's actually not breathing any fire. So yeah, now he's breathing fire, but like this fire that was here before is actually not real fire. So you can just walk right through that. That's pretty rare, but if you do see that, that's what's happening. But here we want to grab our blues, so just grab a blue in your hand, toss it over here, and then C-stick down to the left to try to dismiss your yellows and reds past here. You don't want them to be too far to the right, or else they'll latch on to the analog computer in Libra as they pass. As long as your yellows and reds are to the left of kind of this line right here, then they should be fine. So yeah. And you only need 16 Pikmin. So if you didn't get the Breadbug yet, you'll need 18 Pikmin between these two groups, and at least 3 reds. If you've already gotten the Breadbug, then you only need to have 1 red here, and you only need 16 Pikmin here. So, but yeah, whistle your blues. You see how to dismiss because of the trip. But here, if you have any leaves, just hold A and tap X to get the leaf in your hand just to make it keep up with you. And distract these wollywogs. Just have them jump once each towards the bottle. It's not super precise as long as they're like around here. And then you can just dismiss all of your blues onto the ADF. You need the, whatever they're called, the wollywogs to be on this side of the bottle, like down here, in order for the ADF to be safe. Just make them jump one more time down here. And keep an eye out here. Sometimes, even if you have all 40 Pikmin on the part, one of them will just like not be able to grab over and over again. So just watch out for that. If that does happen, then just walk down like far away from the Wollywog so you don't make him jump again before then whistling and dismissing back onto the part. But that should be pretty rare. So most of the time, head over here. Get this Wollywog to jump. He doesn't really need to jump very far, honestly. Just as long as he jumps a little bit over here, then you're good. And then head over to grab your other reds and yellows. Again, you can see actually the cool glitch here. This is the stolen animation from the fire geysers just here for some reason. If you didn't get the Breadbug, then you need to get it now. You don't have that many reds, so it may be a little difficult to grab 2 reds and throw only 2 reds onto its head. So what I like to do here is just throw yellows and just kind of spam them, just to make sure that I get the 1 hit in before I then swap to my reds and just throw 2 reds on there. And then this throw we'll talk about in a sec, but once this is all done with, then you can head over to the ADF. But so since we don't need to get the Breadbug, this Blowhog here, because on Switch things are generally loaded from a little farther away because it's widescreen, this guy, if he's over here and he stays loaded over here, he will actually kill your Pikmin on the ADF. He'll blow fire on them. So we basically just want to wait until he's back on this side. And just throw a red over here to distract him. Essentially, I just like to imagine a line kind of at the bottom of the grass here. See the nectar grass, just a line here. As long as he's on this side of the line, then you should be good. Basically, the way the Blowhog AI works is there's kind of 2 circles. There's like a smaller circle and a bigger circle. If he walks outside of the smaller circle, he can walk up to the bigger circle edge, which is like right here. If he doesn't see anything, then he'll turn around and just walk back to the yellow circle. Or the smaller circle, I should say. So just wait until he walks back here. It will always happen within like 1 or 2 walks, so it shouldn't take too long, and then just throw a red over here. It's fine also if the red is latches onto the grass or latches onto the Blowhog, as long as the Blowhog's facing like kind of over this direction and not down, then you're good. But then we're going to head down and do another part swap onto the ADF. Again, remember whistle and then dismiss and then tap B a few times. And throw Pikmin down until you have only 16 left in your party. That should mean that most of the time that there's 41 on the part. Sometimes there'll be 40, then that'll be fine. And then head over here. Try to avoid walking into the Libra because you haven't activated its text box yet, so it just saves a little time not to activate it. But here, while you're walking back here, don't touch the C-stick and do not walk into any pellets or any bodies with Olimar. As long as you don't do that, then the Pikmin will never grab them, so you think they'll just stay in your party. And now we just want to throw all 16 of our Pikmin onto the Ionium jet. You may be a little scared because the minimum load on this is 15, but we have 16. Like maybe 1 won't grab. I've never actually seen one not grab as long as you throw them all at once. If you had a trip, definitely make sure to dismiss and re-whistle so all your Pikmin are close to you, because if you try to throw 15 and then wait for that one and then just throw it as it's moving, a lot of the times that one will not grab it. So just make sure all your Pikmin are here when you throw all 16 onto the part. And then because the Breadbug should be dead by now, most of the time, you will have your 2 Pikmin here. I guess if you got the Breadbug earlier, these 2 Pikmin will be here. Whistle them and then throw them onto the analog computer. If you just threw onto the Breadbug right before the ADF, the Breadbug most times should be right around the analog computer here. But then while you're waiting for everything to get in, just destroy these pellet posies. The ADF can get stuck on them sometimes, so just as long as they're dead, then it should be fine. And now we're just waiting for parts to get in, so we're just going to wait for some cutscene skips. The only thing to say here is, so if a cutscene, a part collection cutscene happens while the Breadbug is still being carried back to the Onion, then the Breadbug actually detaches from the pellet. It like glitches out, and then when the cutscene ends, then the Breadbug just walks off and doesn't get carried back to the Onion. So if you messed up and you're a little bit slow and the Breadbug is behind the analog computer, then you're just want to whistle off the analog computer and any other parts that the Breadbug's behind until the Breadbug gets sucked up and dies, and at that point then you can put your Pikmin back onto the parts and start collecting them. But yeah, just going for more cutscene skips. Again, generally the parts are kind of farther to the right when they get collected. So because the 2 that died or that killed the Breadbug, when we add those to the 23 on the analog computer, that's why I want to put 23 on that. We should always have 25 here, and the min load for the space float is 25. So now we can collect that. And then now, so the Ionium jet is almost always going to be the last part that comes in. So once you only have the, whatever it's called, the Omega Stabilizer left, Omega Stabilizer, ADF, and Ionium jet, whistle all your Pikmin off of anything that's just been collected here, and you should have 42 Pikmin in your party. Throw 9 around just like right in the path here, right here, so that when the Ionium jet walks here, it'll all those 9 should latch onto it to max load it to 25, and that'll just speed it up because it'll be the last thing in. And then you can put your remaining, you should always have more than 30 Pikmin left, dismiss them onto the Omega Stabilizer. And then go for more cutscene skips. And just keep in mind, this last part, you need to wait until it's sucked into the ship before you end the day. It doesn't count as collected until it's actually been sucked in. So yeah, at this point now we can pause and go to sunset. And also, if you had, so there's the one red you left in, to distract that Blowhog. That's fine if that one dies. Honestly, even if any reds that you threw to the Ionium jet are outside of the base and they get left behind, that's fine, because you don't really need reds for the rest of the run. We just need 50 just to fill out the field at one point. So ending this day, you should always have 40 blues. If you did the strat here where you kill until you have only 13 yellows, you should only have 13 yellows, but you need at least 10 for the rest of the run. And then, yeah, just at least 50 reds is fine. So